In an interview with Joe yesterday, President Trump was pretty upbeat, more than that, really, about the U.S.-China relations. Take a look at what he had to say.
The best thing that happened is we have two countries that like each other again, because it was getting pretty nasty. And, you know, they have taken advantage of our country for 30 years, and I was not going to let it happen.
Joining us right now is Penny Pritzker. She is the former U.S. Commerce Secretary. She is now PSP Partners founder and chairman on the other side of the aisle. What's your take on where the relationship is between the U.S. and China?
Well, the good news is it seems like tensions are down, at least for this week, so that's good. But we've been through a lot of pain to get where we're at today. And so the question is it all worth it? We didn't really make any kind of structural change, and it cost us about 10% of Wisconsin farmers are gone.
So you think it was not worth it? You think that this is hype?
Well, I think that we're not as far along as we're being told we are. I mean, we haven't dealt with cybersecurity. We haven't dealt with the structural issues of investment by China in their companies or their SOEs. I mean, there's a lot of work still to do.
But IP, there was more than people thought. It wasn't just ag buys. Right? I mean, we've had people take really 180 degrees from what you're saying, that it was a lot more than people thought for phase one in terms of IP, in terms of enforcement, in terms of the tariffs staying on, and you know, so that we can monitor whether they're complying with everything they agreed to.
Having worked with the Chinese, the proof's going to be in the pudding, right? That's always the challenge we've got. But I'm saying the good news is tensions are down. That's good for the global economy. And
do you think the relationship, though, has fundamentally changed? I mean, that was one of the things that the president suggested. That's one of the things Stephen Schwartzman has suggested, that really this is a genuine détente. Do you believe that?
We'll see. It's you know, I don't know. Who knows whether this administration changes its mind on where we're going, and you know, will the Chinese live up to their end of the bargain? Right.
One of the other big issues here, I know we try to talk about the economy, but it feels like, what was it? The woke economic forum, as opposed to the World Economic Forum.
It's really world, but it could be either. I mean, it can stand for more than one thing. Can't.
What is your sense about the woke economic forum? Meaning, there's been so much focus on ESG relative to growing the pie.
Well, I think you can do both, right? I don't think it's an either or, and I think that's the opportunity, and that's what you hear people talking about is that, you know, basically focusing on sustainability is something that's good, I think, for the planet, which is absolutely essential. But also, our customers want companies to do that, and our employees.
Is this a sign, though? Is this a sign of the top? Meaning, in an abundant world, we can have these types of conversations. When things are really terrible, it's actually quite complicated to talk about other issues that might feel like they're on the side.
Well, if you think about clean energy, right, I think there's enormous opportunity. You know, do people, you know, in general, are people feeling okay about growth? Yeah, absolutely. And so it allows for room to talk about other issues, like, for example, what are we doing for our employees to make sure they're being skilled up to deal with the fact we have so much more technology at work.
Secretary Pritzker, you made news last week when you endorsed Joe Biden for the presidency. You are the sixth of the former cabinet members from Obama to have done this. But at this point in the race, it still looks like a pretty open race. Just about anything could happen. Are you concerned about what happens to the party, this huge divide that seems to be there between maybe more moderates and those who are much more far-leaning left?
Well, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens in terms of that conversation. I think it's actually healthy to have the conversation, because I think what's going on in the Democratic Party is a recognition that while wages are rising, they're still not rising enough, that we have a lot of people who are struggling. We still have a manufacturing recession going on. We still have challenges that we have to deal with in terms of people being laid off because technology is, you know, supplanting their jobs. And so I think the conversation you see in the Democratic Party is, how do we address that? And there's a big spectrum, as you point out. I happen to believe, let's not break the system. Let's work and try and make the system work for everybody.
If it turns out that it becomes a Bernie Sanders nomination, or it turns out to be an Elizabeth Warren nomination, would you support them?
You know, I struggle with a number of their policies. I don't believe in a wealth tax. I don't think that will achieve the outcomes that are being promised. Should someone like me pay more in taxes? Yes, we pay a lot in taxes, but should we pay more in order to address inequality? Probably. I don't think the wealth tax is the way to get there. I don't think blowing up our healthcare system is the way to get there. So I struggle with the policies.
So would you vote for President Trump then?
You know what? I can't go there.
You can't go for, so you wouldn't vote? What would you do?
Yeah, I'll vote. Of course I'll vote. But, President Trump to me has, been a real challenge for our country. I think, and that's why I'm supporting Joe Biden. I think he's the man with the experience. He's the man with the integrity. He's the man who's got respect around the world. I think he can put, look, I still stay in touch with a lot of my friends, not only in our government, but also around the world. And they basically tell us you're off the playing field. You're not present. We're not asking ourselves what the United States thinks. Instead, they're asking, they're doing whatever they want, and regardless of consequence, because we're unreliable.
Where are you on Bloomberg?
I'm a friend of Mike Bloomberg's, and I think he's out trying to really make an important message.
You think he's got a chance?
We'll see.
Okay. Penny Pritzker, thank you.